On this episode of Internet Business Mastery, we talk about how to choose the best business coach. And in the quick tip, we share the secret to succeeding without burning out.
Welcome to InternetBusinessMastery.com, where you will learn to take control, make more money, and start an internet business today. Here are your hosts, Sterling and Jay.
Hey everyone, I'm Sterling.
And I'm Jay, and we are here on a mission to help you start your own internet business. And if that sounds like something that you want to do, then we invite you to go to freevideogift.com to check out our free video that teaches you the right way to start your very own online business. So, Sterling, what has you excited these days in business and life?
Well, again, we've talked about before how it's not the money for us, it's the other things, what money can buy. And there just happens to be, right now, as we're recording this, my daughter's at a horseback riding camp, and you actually stay there. She's there for a week, and so it's been a couple of weeks this year that I've been able to do that, plus a private school and these different things that I've been really excited that I'm able to transfer the value, and that's what the money actually means, is me being able to do stuff like this with it. And we've talked a lot about, and even in the academy, we talk about making sure you know what money actually means for you, so that it's not just, I just want to make a lot of money. Well, what does that mean? What does it look like? What do you transfer that little piece of paper into? And it just, watching this summer as my kids have been doing a lot of really fun stuff that I, of course, wish I could have done as a kid, even the school they're going to be going to this year, all this kind of stuff, it just made me, very excited about internet business and what our plans are. And that's kind of how I see it, is as we grow, we don't just go, oh gosh, I want to, we got to make another $1 million solely. That's it. It's, what does that actually mean? What more of a lifestyle? What can our lifestyle look like at a different level? And then it excites me at a whole different level when I know that what I'm working for is directly something very specific instead of just money, which doesn't, that's very vague. Money, I want $1 million, is very vague. But when you know exactly what that's going to turn into, it's definitely very exciting for me to look at it that way. So that's just this week. I've just been very, very aware of that, especially since, my daughter's at camp right now. That always helps.
Right. As
I'm worried, oh my gosh, she's riding horses all day up in the mountains somewhere. But anyway, so that's kind of what's been going on for me. And it actually made me think of, okay, what next year do I want to be able to do? Not only for my daughters, but, what's some awesome things I've always wanted to, either have a part of my life or go do.
Yeah, that's a great strategy, and I like how you're applying it not only to the future, because I know you're very, you're one of your strengths is futuristic, and you are somebody who's very forward-thinking, and it is very effective to think about, okay, well, what is that going to get me in the future to motivate you towards that future? But I like that you're also recognizing it now in the present, because I know that's a trap I fall into, of not appreciating what I have worked hard for now, and getting stuck in that, oh, what have I not got yet? Oh, I'm not yet to X amount a month. Oh, I'm not yet to living in such and such apartment. Oh, I'm not yet to sending my daughter to Hawaii for 4 weeks for the super advanced deluxe horseback ride, or, whatever. So I don't even know if you'd send your daughter for 4 weeks to Hawaii, actually, now that I think about it. That'd be a little scary.
Yeah, I think that would be me going.
Yeah, right. You're like sending myself to the 4-week deluxe horseback riding. But it's great to use that not only as a to enjoy what you've achieved now, but also to motivate you towards new things in the future. And I can attest to how excited she was having that opportunity to hang out with you and your daughter last week in Salt Lake, which was very cool. And she was just so giddy and excited for that camp. So it's very cool that she's there. But I like that. Yeah, great strategy, great lesson when it comes to setting goals and motivating yourself. And we've talked about that before. It's so important to know what it is other than just a money value that you're working for.
And now, the features segment.
Last episode, we talked about the importance of coaching and how it can greatly accelerate your success and progress to the next level in your business. So we thought it'd be helpful this time to talk about, well, what are some of those criteria that are important to look for when you go about choosing the best business coach for you? I mean, you can search online, start asking around, doing all these different things. But it's important to know what it is that you want and are looking for. And especially if you've never had the opportunity to work with a coach, we hope that you'll find this helpful in determining what kind of coach to look for. So I'd say the number one aspect is that you need to choose somebody to be your coach that you can trust. Somebody that you know that you mesh well with, that you know is going to lead you in the right direction. They have, their values match up with what it is that you want in life. So they're going to, not encourage you to do things that aren't, might not fit what your ethics are, or might not fit the kind of lifestyle that you want for yourself, or might not fit the kind of business that you'd really like to start. So having that connection, it's like, okay, they understand a bit about who I am, and I understand who they are, and I feel like I could, jive with this person. Their personality works well for you. And that's why we're so big on teaching the type of marketing that we teach. Because whatever niche you're in, and whether you're coaching people directly, selling them products or whatever, the content marketing that we teach in the academy is all about quickly allowing people to find that trust for you, to get a sense of who you are and be able to go, yeah, you know what, I could work with this person. I do want to learn from this person. I am going to buy this person's products or services. It's all, when we talk about our money map in the academy, it all leads up to trust, so that you have that influence with the people that you want to impact. And so now, being on the other side of that, looking for a coach, that's what you want to look for as well. Is this person going to lead me in the right direction that I'm going to feel comfortable with, give me honest feedback, and, am I just going to enjoy working with this person, know, like, and trust them? What are some things that you've thought about when you've looked for a coach when it comes to trust? What's helped you be able to trust the people that have become your mentors?
Well, definitely one aspect is a personality type. Like I was just thinking to myself, who could I not get coaching from? Now, not that this person actually offers coaching, I don't think so. But luckily, he wrote a book, and even the book, his certain personality came out in it, and it was a little grating on me. Not anything bad about him. We just have completely different personalities, and that was Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk. I can't remember how to say his last name. Uh-huh. I mean, he kicks major butt at business. I mean, he does really great, but his personality type is exactly my opposite. So if I had to do coaching from him, that wouldn't work for me. Now, I don't know that it would take away trust per se, and maybe it does subconsciously. You don't know, because he sounds very salesy to me and just fast talker in more of a like an explosive sales way. And that, that would lower my level of wanting to work with him because of that. So that they would be maybe not directly a trusting. I don't know that I don't trust him because of that, but it just wouldn't work for me, which would, definitely lower that a little bit. There's other aspects too, like trust for me actually comes down to some of the other things on our list again, which is I want somebody that's actually done it or doing it right now. And obviously the higher the trust would be that they're doing both. They've got experience and they're actually still doing it right now, not just teaching something that they did 10 years ago or something. They're actually in the game doing it. Those are big things for me. And I know that any of the coaches that I've worked with, it's all about that for me when I'm considering trusting this person.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that leads to another one of our criteria there is that, they're in the trenches actually doing it, and that reminds me of when I was in college becoming, when I was working to become an engineer, I definitely had some professors where I was like, they teach all the theory and they can put all the math equations on the board, but sometimes I wonder, do they really know what it's like in the real world? Like, if you have this sense of, wow, this professor hasn't actually been in the cubicle designing things for 15, 20 years, do they even know the latest technology? Are they leading me in the, and that does affect trust. And I definitely had some professors that were like that. And so the ones I enjoyed most were the ones that I could tell it's like, oh, they're out there and they're doing it and they know what it's like in the real world right now. And they're not just, teaching me out of a book. So looking for people who are actually doing it right now. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard about or maybe even had that experience where you pay for a coach and you feel like you're just talking to someone on the phone who's reading a script that might have been handed to them by somebody who's doing it, but that person that you're actually talking to, isn't actually doing it. So some of those finer nuances, they're just giving you canned answers rather than really being able to understand the particulars and go, oh, well, based on my own experience, this is what I would recommend to you. And that's what you want, is somebody who can draw from that, their own experiences.
Well, and I just realized that the reason I dropped out of college, I got to the part of college where I get to learn what I want, which at the time was film school. And I'm in this general film class with 90 other students. And the teacher there, he said something to me that really annoyed me in the first place and slightly inspired me, which I'll tell what that is in a second. But it led me to try and find out more about him and the other teachers in the film school. But what he said was, okay, there's 90 of you in this class, and statistically, 3 of you might work in the film industry in some form. In your whole, out of all of you, at best, 3 of you will. And of course, in my mind, I went, oh, well, of course I'm going to be one of those 3. And the other thing actually made me go, I want to go research this film college team, see if they've done anything in this, and see why I should listen to him then. Because in my mind, when you're 20 and cocky and whatever, you're like going, well, if it's so hard, why are you here teaching? If film is so awesome, why aren't you in Hollywood doing this? And, it was one of those things where I went and looked, and, one guy out of the whole professors that teach the film school there, one guy had worked on a Hollywood production, and again, it was like 10 years ago. And I just was like going, this is insane to me. And I actually, as a dare with a couple of the other 2 people that I thought were going to be the other 2 that made it in film. We were all friends. Of course, I thought we were the 3, right?
The 3, yeah.
Of course. But yeah, I ended up making a bet with them that I could drive to Hollywood that weekend, which I'd never been to LA before in my life, and get a job there and not have to do school. And it was a bet that came about just through our discussions and me being completely disgusted by what he said, and my level of trust for them went way down to almost nothing, obviously when he said that. And then when I went and looked, and only one guy had ever worked on a film before, a Hollywood film. And so it's one of those things where I definitely look back now and go, oh my gosh, like these are the reasons I didn't choose these professors to be my coach.
Right.
It is because of them actually doing it. Did they have experience, and my level of trust for them? And so I didn't finish college because of that. Now, on the other hand, that weekend I did go up and get a job at Universal Studios, but
Nice.
So there was an upside to that. But that was why, is because I didn't trust them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a great point to look. Maybe, I mean, you definitely should look into their backgrounds. You should just maybe buy one of their entry level products, or look at some of the content that they're putting out there and get a sense for whether they're doing it. And we made that decision. For instance, when we started this show, we're going to share with people what we're actually doing. This is not going to be theory, and as we learn new things, we'll put it on the show. We want to be 2 guys who are in there doing it and just sharing with people our experience. And it's often people do have that. The opposite side of that coin is the fallacy of, which drives me nuts, when people are like, oh, well, if you're doing it and are so successful, why are you teaching it? And they automatically think that, well, if you're teaching it, then you aren't doing it, which isn't necessarily true either. There are definitely people who are doing both. And like, for instance, for us, it's because, well, we love teaching it. It's part of what fulfills us. Yes, we love doing it, but we also love having that impact, helping others do it as well. So, make sure that you're not taking that fallacy to either of the extremes, and just look into it and make sure they're in the trenches and doing it. And going along with that is the third criterion, that is, well, that they have experience. So not that they're just doing it now, but, it's nice if you can find a coach that's not just one step ahead of you. That, we talked about that last episode, how we'd like to, when we're at point A and we know we want to get to point B, we try to find somebody who's walked that path already and can just shine the light and go, hey, here's the best route to get you there. And so, looking into, well, what have they done in the past? Have they started their own internet business? Have they made money online? Have they, faced different challenges that I might face, so that they can help me with each of those things? So an example of this would be last year when we were gearing up to do our first, broad joint venture launch, meaning you're getting a whole bunch of affiliates and partners together to promote our new product all at the same time. we knew that what we wanted to do was go to the best expert that we could find, the guy who's been in there and doing it more than anyone else. And that would be, Jeff Walker, the guy that we had already learned. And we had that trust and we knew he was actually doing it because we followed his content. We'd bought his courses before, we'd gone through his courses. And it just so turns out that, I guess it'd be about a year and a half ago that an opportunity, because he doesn't take many clients at all. It is tough sometimes to find those ideal people who are both doing it and willing to take some time to teach. But when that opportunity came up on our radar to consult with him, even though it meant dropping, a good sum of money right up front, 5 figures right up front to do that, we were like, it didn't even hesitate. It was just like, okay, boom, yes. Here we go. Write the check. Where do we send the money? Where do we wire it? Let's make this happen. Because he had that experience, he was actually doing it, and he could take us from point A to point B better than anyone else could for our first large joint venture launch like that.
Well, and we paid him more than I made each year for like at least half of my 20s.
Right.
I go, that's like a normal salary for people he got paid just to help and coach.
Well, and I can remember I got the email of they saying, we're just looking for 1, maybe 2 people right now that we're willing to coach through and consult on. Of course, I had that moment of like, well, yeah, there's no way he'll pick me, or there's no way that I can afford. It was easy to quickly dismiss it rather than even think about, actually this is, so I did have those few seconds of like, no, okay. Yeah, that would be great. This is perfect, but yeah, it won't happen, or I can't make this happen. And thank goodness I stopped and go, no, okay, let's think about this. How can I make this happen? Why not go for it and see? And then of course the second roadblock was, when they did, get on the phone and we're like, talking about it, the obviously the subject of money came up. And I knew it wasn't going to be cheap, but it ended up being even more than expected. And so it was very easy just to go, oh, well, that's a lot of money. Can't
no
make that
way
happen. It's not, no way, it's not worth it. But, fortunately had already learned the lesson of how important it is to go, how can I afford this?
Yeah.
To sit down with my wife and go, okay, wait a second. How does this make, and run some numbers and go, well, here's the return on investment. And really, even if things go conservatively, I'll make that money back by X amount of time. And okay, maybe if we pull some money from over here and we pull some money there, and yeah, we might have to kind of put off a couple things and, see, how things work. But, in the end, it took that 15 or 20 or 30 minutes to think through that and go, okay, no, yeah, this is absolutely worth it. Let's go ahead and make it happen. So, when I say that didn't hesitate, made that decision in a matter of a few seconds, actually, that's not entirely true, because throughout that first like, yes, okay, absolutely, let's do it. Then, of course, that voice of doubt comes in and tries to stop. It's just as normal in this process, but very thankful that I had learned the lessons of like, no, wait, we need to stop and think about this and not just dismiss things so quickly. All right, the next criteria is obviously access. I mean, the one of the primary reasons to get coaching, as opposed to, say, just buying somebody's product or buying somebody's CD series or video series or a webinar series or whatever the case may be, is that, with a coach, you're getting further access to them to get that more one-on-one, or at least more direct, or be able to ask your particular questions. I mean, it's one thing, for instance, reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad changed my entire mindset and was great. But at the end, I was also just left going, okay, now I know I'm unemployable. I know this is what I want for my life, but what's the next step?
Yeah,
and, it wasn't the purpose of that book. I mean, everything that I've learned since couldn't have gone into that book. But thank goodness that within a few months, I did find that first real estate investing coach, because it wasn't until I had access to him, going to Denny's after, in the evenings, and picking his brain, or, going to those group sessions where we got to ask questions, or meeting him at one of his houses where he was talking about deals and how he had put it together, or being able to call him on the phone and go, I just talked to a bank and they said this, what do I do now? That access is what you're paying for, to be able to go to that person and get that kind of feedback. So you definitely want to make sure that you're getting additional access and not just paying a premium simply to get sent, an expensive box of videos with none of that additional access to go off of as well. Right. The next criteria is that you want a coach that's going to give you some personalized guidance. This kind of goes back to that, unfortunate experience that some people have of paying through the teeth and just getting the canned, scripted coaching where you call up and for an hour somebody reads off a script. And if you say A, then they're told to say B. And if you say X, they're told to say Y. You want somebody who can take in, listen to your experience, listen to what you want as a lifestyle, listen to what you want as a business, what your interests are, what your goals are, and then be able to say, okay, yeah, given that the system's going to work, here's a couple extra things I might tell you for your particular case, so that you feel like it's going to work for you, and it's not just this least common denominator. Well, 20% of people, the system will work. You want to know that you're getting something that's specifically going to work well for you. So a coach that offers, to some degree, personalized guidance for your particular case is going to be really important too.
Well, the access and personalized guidance are definitely two of the favorites of mine when we do coaching. So that's the fun side of the other side of it, is being able to actually directly help somebody and guide them personally. It's awesome. I love it.
Right. When we do like those Q&A webinars or the in-person, small mastermind groups with students, and that stuff's thrilling to hear about their specific experiences and to hear what they're struggling with and go, oh yeah, we faced that once and here's how we handled that. And within a span of 2-3 minutes, just watch like the light bulb go off and have them go, oh my gosh, and go from a place of like, maybe a bit of discouragement to like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go conquer the world. When do we get out of here so I can go put this into action? Like, that's thrilling for us to see that transition happen. So yeah, that's the value of coaching. Absolutely. So the last criteria you want to look for is a track record of success with their students. I mean, it's one thing to be in there and doing it themselves and to have experience, but can they not only do it for themselves, but help you do it? And the best way to do that is look and see, well, have they been able to help other people do it? Have they been able to put into a system what it is that they do and explain it in such a way that other people can take it in and apply it and make it, or are they just teaching something where they got lucky and it's not necessarily duplicatable, if that's a word, not necessarily something other people can duplicate. So looking to see that they have a track record of helping other people achieve similar results is going to be important. And that goes back to trust and being able to trust that they're going to give you the results that you're looking for. Because in the end, that's what you're paying for, is results. You want good things to happen. It's not easy to put that investment of time and money and trust on the line. You want to know that in the end, it's going to pay off for you. And so that track record of success with students is important consideration as well.
Well, and again, for, the whole Jeff Walker thing, I mean, we knew some of the biggest people in our industry had, done launches with Jeff. So that certainly made yet even another level of trust and excitement for having him coach.
Yeah, he had a better track record than anybody. Absolutely, for sure. And that's part of what made me like instantly. I was seeing that email like, oh my gosh, we got to do this. Like, this is awesome. So let's go ahead and review the 6 criteria here. Number 1 is somebody you can trust and mesh with and feel good about working with them. Number 2, somebody who's actually doing it right now. Number 3, somebody who has experience. They're not just a step ahead of you doing it, but they have, the right amount of experience as well. Number 4, somebody who will give you that access to ask questions and get that direct help that you need. Number 5, somebody who offers personalized guidance for your particular situation, so you can feel confident that you're not just getting a canned system or a canned response, but something that fits your particular needs and wants. And then the final criteria is looking to see that they have a track record of success with students. So if you use these 6 criteria, you're sure to find a coaching experience that will work well with you, that you can invest in with confidence and know that you will get the return on your investment that you're hoping for going into your coaching experience. So just to finish off, I know there's people right now who are wondering, well, what about you, Sterling and Jay? Do you do coaching? And the answer is yes. We've done several coaching courses before, and every once in a while there's a break in between because we have lots of other things we're doing. We're building up the academy or this and that and the other. But there are at least a couple times a year that we like to come out with some form of coaching course. And so if that's something that interests you, head on over to internetbusinessmastery.com/coaching. As this, on the date that this episode is coming out live, we are actually gearing up to open a new coaching course right away. And there'll be, a limited number of slots in that. But if you want to get, the first notification of when that opens up with all the details, definitely head over right now to internetbusinessmastery.com/coaching to get all the details about that. All right. On this episode's breakthrough, we actually have one that's from one of our coaching students from last year. This is Erin Verbeck, who is part of the Traffic Attraction Formula coaching course, and who also, as part of her access that she had purchased with that course, got to have email coaching with me. And she used the launch strategies that we taught in Traffic Attraction Formula along with the email access that she had to me. And it was thrilling to have that back and forth with her. She was putting together this new launch for a new coaching course that they were doing. They're in the photography niche, helping photographers to launch their businesses and market themselves and so on and so forth. And she sent me this email recently sharing some results, which is really exciting to see. And here's what she says. Erin says, "We implemented your launch formula from Traffic Attraction Formula and sold out of our allotted number of photography marketing formula course spots in less than 15 minutes. We opened more slots and sold 5 times what we had projected." So that's just incredible. It's so exciting when you come up with this new idea, this new thing is going to add great value to your following, to your audience, and they just eat it up and are so excited for it. And not only does it turn out to be very profitable for you, but also very beneficial for them. So thank you for sharing those results with us, Erin. We're very excited for you. And thanks for being a part of the Traffic Attraction Formula coaching program. Now, if you'd like to check out the business insight that Erin has along with her business partner, Sarah, then head on over to thejoyofmarketing.com.
And remember, there's a live question and answer call each month for Academy members where you can ask us anything about starting and running an internet business. If you're not a member, no problem. Just go to internetbusinessmasteryacademy.com and sign up now.
It's time for the Internet Business Quick Tip.
All right, another quick tip with our Summer of Success reading. And this is another one of the books that we've read in the recent history here that's had a great impact on us. This one we found out about as we were kind of diving into a whole phase about productivity and time management and feeling like you're using your time well and things like that. I believe this one came as a recommendation from Eben Pagan. This is The Power of Full Engagement. And there's 2 authors. Actually, the only one that's coming to mind right now is Tony Schwartz is the one author. And then there's another author as well, but I'm forgetting his name. So my apologies if he happens to be listening. I doubt it. But actually, I just looked it up here. So it's Tony Schwartz and Jim Lohr. So you can look that up if you want. Now, this book, The Power of Full Engagement, it's all about, this is a book that even like Olympic level athletes and coaches use, in helping their athletes find that right balance of, when you're working for something so hard and you're out there constantly working out, you're going to be an Olympic runner and you might be tempted just all the time to be out there training. But this book talks about the importance of that balance of getting in a rhythm between pushing yourself to new limits and then backing off for time of renewal. And then digging in again and the renewal and digging in again. And I've definitely found this to be very beneficial because in the early days of my business, I was all about never shutting off. I was just constantly thinking about business. And I'd tell myself, well, it's because of what I love doing the most. And that was partially true, but it was also, a number of different, reasons that I had to learn about myself of why I did that. But I have found that as I've blocked things more strategically and had those times where I allow myself to, shut off, even during the day, doing things in a block of time and then stepping away for a little while and coming back, or recognizing when I'm hitting a brick wall and my energy and my willpower is starting to wane. 5-6 years ago, I would have just buckled down and said, I'll just power through it. I have to just keep going. I have to get this done. So, the right thing to do, the logical thing to do is just to keep on working harder. And that's where the reward's going to come. And I have learned to have faith in that whole process of, sometimes if you feel that coming on and you stop and walk away for an hour, renew, go for a walk, whatever the case may be, and then come back, that you'll find that you get it done even quicker than if you had kept powering through it, and you'll come out with a better result because of that time of renewal. Now, that's a very simplified explanation of the principle, but in this book, The Power of Full Engagement, it's all about finding that right balance between applying yourself very concertedly and focused and getting lots of, effectiveness and productivity out of yourself, and then knowing when to back off. And it's all about hitting peak performance as a result of that rhythm. So an excellent book that we definitely recommend that you check out.
If you'd like to get dozens of resources such as this one, you can find them in the Internet Business Mastery Academy, along with video tutorials showing you exactly how we use many of them. So to get your risk-free trial membership to the Academy, go to InternetBusinessMasteryAcademy.com.
You've been listening to the iconoclasts of the 9 to 5, Sterling and Jay. Sterling and Jay invite you to discover one of their most popular video programs ever, the Online Business Freedom Formula. Visit freevideogift.com right now to get instant access to this life-changing video series, pulled directly from the acclaimed Internet Business Mastery Academy membership community. Go now to freevideogift.com. Take control, make more money, start an internet business today.